welcome back. This is a bit of, I guess you could say, for the people that are watching that are interested in sales.io that want to learn more and want to actually see what it looks like to be a part of it. We actually have one of our coaches a part of sales.io here, and we're going to ask him a few questions, just more or less give you guys as much information as to what we've done and how we can potentially help you. But ultimately, this is just a story. Just tell your story, man.
Let's go.
Hell yeah. Jalen, a pleasure.
Go. Pleasure to be
Absolutely.
here, man. Absolutely.
Let's do it. Let's talk about it. Just give us a rundown, like your story from meeting JJ to you being in sales.io. Like, how did it even start?
You know, this is such a good question. I've told this story a lot because I love it so much, but it was genuinely one of those things where it was like, when you get one of those signs in life when you should take action on something, you're like, I don't really know if I should or not. You question it a bit, but this is one of those times where I was like, I thought the idea, and I took action on it. So a bit of context, I was in Educate, my graduate course back in the day, 2.5 years ago, I'd say maybe at this point. And JJ, ironically, was one of the coaches inside of Educate, sales coaches. And so I, like everybody else, man, when you kind of get to know JJ a bit, even if
Yeah.
you're just on coaching calls, it's like, man, something about this guy is like, something just draws me into it. I want to know more about him. I love the way he speaks. I love his charisma. I love his energy. And so I was learning from him for a couple months. Fast forward, I landed my first offer with Ashton Hall. I was his first setter, actually, which is super, super ironic. His first ever employee. And this guy had millions of followers, bro.
Yeah.
Like so many followers, but he was making, no money at the time with his offer. And I loved Ashton. I wanted to actually help him, scale the business. So that divine, thought was like, let me text JJ.
Yeah.
Let me DM JJ. Let me cold DM JJ. And ironically, like, I think 30, 45 minutes later, send me a text and rest is history.
That's just history. That's awesome. Especially with Ashton Hall, like working with him. How has JJ helped you develop as a coach, but not only a coach, like as a setter throughout that time of learning sales, getting into it? How has JJ been that impact to you?
Yeah. I mean, before I even got into Educate, I was doing sales, did sales in person. I was a telemarketer for like 6 months to try to learn cold calling. But the one thing that JJ did that really allowed me to, get to this level I'm at today was when he came on Ash to see him help me out, right? When he, started to extend his hand or like even like personal help, personal life things, he would teach me things in the perspective of you're here. We need to get you here because if we don't get you here, then none of this information I'm even going to tell you anyway is going to make sense.
Yeah.
So he'd hold me to a higher standard from the get go.
Yeah.
And because he'd hold me to a higher standard, he'd call me out on things. We'd talk. I mean, dude, me and JJ would talk almost every day at one point because I was just so like, you know, infatuated with learning from him. And because he'd always hold me to that higher standard and because he always expect more from me,
Yeah.
I was a setter, but I was also learning about marketing.
Yeah.
He also taught me about sales management at the time. So I was just absorbing all this information. And I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, man, like this guy, it's just completely changed my life, man.
Dude, it's more than sales at this point, right? Because it's like the fact that you start to realize when you get into the sales career, like especially with you, because you were even in sales prior, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like you might have learned a lot prior that was all sales related tactics, but the moment that you connected with JJ, you realize it's deeper than sales, right?
Yes, bro.
Share your thoughts behind that, man.
No, I mean, dude, like my first ever sales gig was in um, timeshare, timeshare sales. And if you guys don't know what timeshare sales is, it's essentially like you're selling vacation points. And it's a very big, like scammy industry per se.
Mhm.
So the only way I knew sales when I first got into it, my only perspective of sales was it's scammy and I'm just here to make commission. Because all the people in the office I worked with were just here to make commission.
Yeah.
So I didn't think of it of like level 2 conversations. I didn't think of having a discovery to help people discover, pain points, nothing. I just wanted to make money and that's it. Then, fast forward, it's like whenever JJ was like, hey man, like, sales really is about making money. Like we are creating heroes. Like we're changing someone's life. I was like, wait a second, bro. So like we're not just doing this for the $5,000 commission check or whatever. He was like, no, 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 that's all a byproduct of you genuinely trying to understand a person and then make the offer make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, don't sell it.
Yeah.
To me, that was a crazy idea. Because again, I was in an office brand new into sales where people would try to sell anything to anybody.
Yeah.
And so learning that from him was like completely a mindset shift.
So what would you tell, especially those people that are probably even seeing this, that are maybe in sales prior, not even in sales audio, obviously, but like they might have that mindset. Like, what would you genuinely tell them that'll help them obviously see a different perspective, see that perspective that you've seen from JJ? Like, if you were to like give them that game, like, what would you say?
This is such a good question, man. This is such a good question, and like I'm gonna be speaking almost to my old self here. I hope this lands for some of you guys, but whenever we think of influence and communication in sales, right? Sales isn't sales. Sales is influence. Being able to influence somebody to make a better decision about their life, to change their life, whatever it is. So if you're at a point when you're on, car salesman, when you're on an offer where it's not ethical, anything like that, you have to think of the effect that is going to happen if you do convince this person to buy the product. Because if you know the product doesn't work, if you know it's not really meant for them, if you know it's like even out of their price range
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to affect their life negatively, then that's because of you, bro. And ethically, like that's not right. And that's like, I know it's not sexy, but it's like,
Yeah,
it's just not right, man. So for me, I would tell my younger self, and forever's watching this in that position, like, think of the effect that you can actually have on someone's life if you do it in a positive manner. And then whatever that is, go towards that.
absolutely. Fair enough. So, like, especially with you, you're now a coach. You're obviously a coach for setters, but not to mention setting foundations, everything like that. Um, Talk about your story in regards to that. Like, as a coach, like, what is your day to day? Like, what are some stories maybe with your students? Just like shed some light on how you are as a coach.
You know, one thing that I feel like we're really big on, and like it's something that I love to pride ourselves on, is like the care we have, right?
Yeah.
The care we have for our students. And so, whenever we get new students in, or whenever we get students who even have experience or whatnot, my main job is to strip away the habits that they came in with from prior experiences, from prior mentors, whatever, and then just make sure the foundation is set in stone. Because I've seen it time and time again. People will come into the community, they learn some high level framework from Jeremy Miner, they saw on Instagram 2 weeks ago.
Some egos.
Yeah, some egos, bro.
Yeah.
They're leveraging these tactics that they hear on Instagram or hear from these people that sounds cool, but they don't even understand why they're asking the questions to begin with. And so as a coach, like I really, really pride ourselves, like the care for the students, but not only that, like I'm even willing to tell somebody, hey, let go of the ego and let's start from the bare bones there and let's
Yeah.
build up from there. Cause I know that in 2 years' time, you're gonna be a lot further than you would have been just trying to use funnel rating framework. So that being said, everybody in the community, the people who I have the opportunity to coach, it's like I care for them so deeply that I'm not just there to give them what they want. I'm there to give them what they need, essentially.
Yeah. That's how it goes, man. And even when it comes to the coaching staff itself, like outside of you being a coach and JJ, who would you say is like probably one of your most favorite coaches? And like, just give a reason as to why.
And so that I
Yeah, and sales.io.
my favorite coaches. I mean, I it's so hard, man, because I love
Yeah.
them all. Like this is like the beauty of having different coaches. You should be able to take different things from everybody, like implement different things from everybody. But I would have to say, I mean, I love Cole, man. I love Cole. I love Cole because he has this extraordinary mind to him, and that extraordinary mind, like it makes your mind almost look at your own stuff from a different perspective, right? And so whenever he's giving feedback to somebody, even if it's not you who's giving, like he's giving the feedback to, you can still like plug it into your own life. And I feel like that's something that not a lot of people have to where they can talk to one person but still affect others.
Yeah.
And so for me, like that's one thing that I'm trying to do now as a coach myself. And to learn from Cole and to see that in action, I fucking love it now.
Oh man. Amen. And even with the coaches, right? Talk about some of the coaches, the fact that like we have so many diverse type of coaches for all different types of life. Like how important you think that is, especially for sales reps, to not only just have maybe somebody that they like, say like JJ, but also know that they have on the back end like a lot more variety. Like just talk about that.
Because man, I mean, like transparently, you're gonna be the product of your own environment. And so, yes, having one amazing mentor or one amazing coach can be amazing, but you're going to be constrained to that environment, what it is that they do, what it is that they teach. You're going to be constrained to that. And it's funny enough, like I was actually in that loop for a bit with JJ,
Hmm.
right? I was actually in that loop for a bit. So I'm speaking out of this again, like I was speaking to my younger self, where it's like, that's very good. And it's like gasoline to a fire.
Yeah,
It can get you somewhere very quick. But once you get to where you want to go and like you've almost kind of like learned everything you could from them, obviously there's always more you can learn from somebody. But it's like, okay, now how can I take something else from somebody else
absolutely.
and then add it into the mix? It's like a potion. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like a potion. So I take something from Scott, take something from Cole, take something from JJ, take something from Lou.
yeah,
Doesn't even matter, right? But if you can take one good thing from every single mentor you meet and you create your own formula around that, imagine like how much more impactful you'd be
yeah,
as opposed to just copying and pasting one person's tactics.
yeah. 10x.
You 10x.
Yeah.
You've beaten everybody because you've gotten the best from everybody. So now you're just this
Now you're
unicorn
just
of
getting
everyone's
better.
magic.
Yeah. And I'd say wrap this up with one specific question that I have, and this is tied to you obviously being in, I guess you could say corporate sales, but kind of like in that space. Um, what is for somebody watching that is maybe in corporate sales or maybe they're in some sort of like EA role or just business stuff, right? What is the biggest difference between like that corporate sales versus online sales and somebody truly taking that jump into online sales?
Corporate sales, you're a revenue generator. That's it. You're a revenue generator. They probably don't know your name. They probably only have you on a tracking sheet as a number. Like, oh, this person randomly from this office in this town generated us this amount of money. Like, let's go. Amazing,
Yeah,
right? That's it. You're not going to get a private call from the CEO saying how proud of that, how proud of you, you are of them. And like, you're not going to get anything like that except for the commission check at the end of the month,
yeah,
which is cool. But now imagine being able to have that commission check at the end of every month, but the founder of the company is calling you to personally thank you.
yeah,
Or your setters are saying, dude, thank you for closing these deals because you allowed me to have my first 5-figure month. And now people not only appreciate you, but the money doesn't even feel like the prize anymore.
yeah,
What feels like the prize is that not only does the CEO appreciate you, but because of the performance that you gave, you've now affected everybody in the company.
absolutely.
And so from corporate to online sales, obviously there's benefits. You can work from anywhere and you can make tons of money, but it's the culture that really matters. And
Yeah,
it's the opportunity to work with people who want different and having that environment in itself, having people who genuinely care about you, it would never ever be the feeling of
yeah.
just making some money.
It's feeling like you're actually on a mission and you're not like just a number.
Yes,
At the end of the day, it's a culture.
you're a part of the grind. You're a part of the journey. That's the best feeling.
Amen. Well, Jalen, that is all I got. Outside of that, if you obviously want to learn a little bit more about what Sales.io is, what we are as a whole at the end of the day, either take a look at the rest of the YouTube videos that we have below or book a call, have a conversation with us, and we'll see how we can help you. So, easy.